Welcome back to Temple Emmanuel. Now that the fall has fallen, we are now with Parashat Lech Lecha, the third of the annual Parshiot in our cycle of Torah readings. The first two Parshiot, Bereshit and Noah, the beginning Genesis and the story of Noah, talk about humanity in general, about the creation of the cosmos. But now with Lech Lecha, the Torah, the text begins to focus on our family, the family of Abraham and Sarah, which of course eventually will become the Jewish people. The covenant, the beginning of the covenant, the Brit, the testament between God and Abraham, starts in this week's Torah portion as the deal is made for Abraham to give God exclusive loyalty and worship, and God promises Abraham not only protection and descendants, but also eventually the land of Israel for the descendants, both spiritual and biological, of Abraham and Sarah. The Rabbi points out that this week's Torah portion is interesting on a variety of levels, but one of the most important things is its title itself. The first two words, Lech Lecha, betake yourself, as God tells Abram, Lech Lecha me'artzecha, go from your land and from your birthplace towards the land that I will show you, which turns out, of course, to be Israel. We're a couple of weeks after the High Holy Days now, and a week or two after Sukkot. And so it's very, very common that all of the promises, all of the commitments that we've made, particularly the commitments to revitalize and renew our Jewish lives, have now kind of already started to fall to the wayside. That while we sat there on Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur and promised ourselves, perhaps even promised our friends and our family, or even promised God that we would pay a little more attention to Torah study, that we would come to services more often, that we would engage in this Jewish journey more than we had in the previous year. Now, a couple of weeks later, the tarnish is coming and things are fading. And that's exactly when the Rabbi tells us we get this Torah portion, Lech Lecha, betake yourself. Because now is the time to actually make all the changes in our lives that we had promised that we would make during our period of repentance on the High Holy Days. So whatever your promise was to yourself, to your family, to the community, to God, whether it was to engage in some Torah study at the synagogue, whether it was to pick up a Jewish book now and then and read on a regular basis, whether to increase your Shabbat observance, now's the time. Lech Lecha, betake yourself, do it, not for God, not for anybody else but you, but this is the time of year that we are now asked to actually do the promises that we made during the High Holy Days. Shabbat Shalom.